Hey guys, Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who. Last time around we had Blink. What was that one about?
Well, it's the introduction of the Weeping Angels. There's this house that some young woman and her friend go in to just look around, and one of them disappears, and moments later, right out of Back to the Future, a letter arrives for her that says that her friend got transported back like 80 years, and that she lived a full life and had children and grandchildren, the whole world. Anyway, so the Doctor and Martha are trying to figure out what's going on, and they lose track. They get trapped in 1969.
Yep.
But manage to record some stuff. So the woman who lost her friend in the house in 2010 or whenever manages to read it all and watch a video of them talking, even though that was recorded, 40 years earlier, 50 years earlier. So anyway, they managed to get back to the TARDIS. The angels surround it. And the thing is, the angels can't look at each other because they would then freeze like they freeze everybody else, and the TARDIS disappears while they're all there, and they all look at each other and they all freeze and they're stone again. That's about as much as I remember.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. That the Weeping Angels can only move when they are not being looked at. So the Doctor basically tricks them into looking at each other. Therefore, they're going to be stuck there until the sun explodes. Much like how Baines is stuck as a scarecrow until the sun explodes. So twice in a row. That's actually kind of weird. That kind of happens twice in a row, but it's fine. But yeah, that's where we left off. We're on the last 3 episodes of this season. And also, because this is one of the few times when it's actually worth mentioning, last time on Torchwood as well, at the end of Days, because there's no point in recapping the rest of that. That was just nonsense. But at the end of that, the hand in the jar at Torchwood started to glow, started reacting, and Jack heard a mystical sound and disappeared. And that's pretty much where we left Torchwood. So, yeah, that's pretty much that. You got anything else going in?
Well, I'm looking at the new title, Utopia, and I'm assuming they're not going back to the 1400s to visit Sir Thomas More, who wrote the book, or the original book called Utopia, if I recall correctly.
No. Anytime you assume it's going to be a historical, 9 times out of 10 it won't be.
Yeah.
Because what was the other one we had? There was another one like that recently.
42?
Oh yeah, where you were talking about, like, it's either the meaning of life or it's Jackie Robinson.
Yes.
And it was neither of those things.
It was 24 in reverse.
Yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. This is another one of those great episodes of Doctor Who. Pretty much the rest of this season is all great stuff, and honestly, from what I remember, again, season 4 is also a lot of the good stuff, so we're pretty much good for a while. So
that's good.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm remembering correctly, my favorite quote, and I think this is Sir Thomas More, I think it's from Utopia. He said, "In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king." Just to give you an idea of how everything is relative.
Well, we'll see if that applies to this episode at all. I don't know, maybe secretly it does, but I don't remember. So, but that is pretty much it. You got anything else?
I got nothing.
Then let's go ahead and jump right into this episode of Doctor Who.
It takes 20 seconds. The route's been active.
Wait a minute. I had an earthquake in Cardiff a couple of years ago. Was that you?
Bit of trouble with the Slidine. Long time ago. Lifetimes. I was a different man by then.
Well, he's trying so desperately to escape being in Torchwood.
We're going to the end of the universe.
Oh, poor guy.
Months are coming.
Darth Maul.
So, no, Star Trek villains.
Oh. He actually gets billing before the title.
Eh. He's graduated. Now that he has his own show.
Like the Viking Berserkers. Hello.
On the surface, will you join me?
Chan, I am happy drinking my own internal milk, though.
Yes, well, that's quite enough information, thank you.
Professor Yana, don't want to rush you, but how are we doing?
Yes, working, yes, almost there.
How's it looking on the footprint?
It's good, yes, fine, excellent.
How are you?
We should leave. We should go. We should really, really go.
Or we could go outside. Huh. So this is the end of the universe, huh? Guess it was a whimper after all.
What, do you know him?
Friend of mine used to travel with me back in the old days.
But he's... I'm sorry, there's no heartbeat. There's nothing. He's dead.
Duh.
Doctor, Captain, good to see you. And you, same as ever. Although, have you had a work done? You can talk. Oh yes, the face, regeneration. How did you know this was me?
I used to be a time agent. It's called a vortex manipulator. He's not the only one who can time travel.
Oh, excuse me, that is not time travel. It's like, I've got a sports car, you've got a space hopper.
Oh, boys and men toys.
All right, so I bowed.
But the thing is, how come you left him behind, Doctor?
I was busy.
Is that what happens, though? Seriously? Do you just get bored of us one day and disappear?
To be fair, he was
Oh,
dying.
she was...
Like it was grown. But look, there, it's like pathways or roads. Must have been some sort of life. Long ago.
What killed it?
The Ice Age.
Time.
Alright, that was the dinosaurs.
He's dying now.
They must have an atmospheric shell. We should be frozen to death.
Well, Martha and I, maybe. Not so sure about you, Jack.
What about the people? Does no one survive?
Perpetually stay alive as an icicle.
I suppose. We have to hope. Life will find a way.
Life, finds
Well,
a
he's
way.
not doing too bad. Oh, I missed this.
Mavis, go back to where you came from. I said, go back, back!
Oh, don't tell him to put his gun down.
He's not my responsibility.
And I am? That makes a change.
How do I see you? I'm hungry.
You know, if I was at the edge of the universe, I'd just kill him.
Don't you see though, the ripe old smell of humans? You survived! Oh, you might have spent a million years evolving into clouds of gas. And another million as downloads, but you always revert to the same basic shape. The fundamental humans.
Well, if only Cassandra could have done that, instead of being a trampoline.
But if the universe is falling apart, what does utopia mean? The Doctor, that's me.
Emperor Claudius meets Hamlet.
Good, apparently.
Oh no, evil.
Who are you? Chan, to.
But we can't get into harmonize.
Cap Jack Harkness.
Stop it.
Can I say hello to anyone?
Chan, I do not protest, though.
Maybe later, Blue.
No, it does.
A hand in a jar. A hand in jar in your bag.
Well, that's my hand.
I said I had a doctor detector.
Chan, is this a tradition amongst your people, though?
Not on my street. What do you mean that's your hand? You've got both your hands. I can see them.
Long story. I lost my hand Christmas Day in a sword fight.
It was so long ago.
What, and you grew another hand?
Yeah, I did, yeah. A survivor of the Malmuth. This was their planet, Mount Casero. Before we took refuge. The city outside, that was yours.
Chan, the conglomeration died, though.
Conglomeration, that's what I said.
You're supposed to say sorry.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
Chan, most grateful. The.
You grew another.
Hello again. It's fine. No, really, it's me.
All this time.
He's had that hand longer than he's had you.
And Utopia is
Oh, every human knows of Utopia. Where have you been?
a bit of a hermit.
A hermit with friends.
Hermits United. We meet up every 10 years, swap stories about caves. It's good fun for a hermit. So, Utopia?
Well, it's better to let them live in hope.
Quite right, too. And I must say, Professor, what was it? Yana. Professor Yana, this new science is well beyond me. But all the same, a boost reversal circuit in any time frame must be a circuit which reverses the boost. So, I wonder...
Reversing the polarity?
Oh, we've been chatting away. I've got to tell you. I'm brilliant.
Passengers prepare for boarding. Repeat, all passengers prepare for immediate boarding.
Oh, that was easy.
Alright, I hate to do this, but I noticed the next episode is like the beating of the drums, and there were drums under the professor's spell there. Is this a two-parter? Or a three-parter?
It's a three-parter.
Oh, great.
But you figured it out yourself. Don't worry. Grab your entire life in two arms and get on a rocket. Going somewhere.
My mum used to say the skies are made of diamonds.
Good for
What's her name? Lucy.
Go on, off you go. Get your seat.
Man, that percussion player is persistent wherever he is.
What's that noise? The sound of drums. More and more as though it's getting closer.
When did it start?
Oh, I've had it all my life. Every waking hour. Still, no rest for the wicked.
Personal note, I've had ringing in my ears my entire life.
17 years.
Tinnitus. Or tinnitus.
All right, and do you mind if I ask, do you have to start every sentence with Chan?
Chan, yes, though.
And end every sentence with...
Chan, though.
What would happen if you didn't?
Chan, that would be rude, though.
What, lads? Worry.
Chan, indeed, though.
Go on, just once.
Chan, I can't, though.
Oh, do it for me.
Can't get her in trouble.
No.
Scotty, we need full power in 3 minutes or we're all dead.
It'll take an hour, but I'll do it in 2 minutes.
We can jumpstart the override.
Oof. You know, it's a good thing his clothes never get affected.
Hey, get out of there! Get out!
Oh, no, Jade.
Strikes me, Professor, you've got a room which no man can enter without dying. Is that correct?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
I think I've got just the man.
Was someone kissing me?
Look at them running with their coats. It's perfect.
What are you taking your clothes off for? I'm going in. Well, but it looks like the step radiation doesn't affect clothing, only flesh.
Well, I look good though. Got on a fight on Ellis Island. Man shot me through the heart. Then I woke up. Thought it was kind of strange. But then it never stopped. Fell off a cliff, trampled by horses, World War I, World War II, poison, starvation, a stray javelin.
Ooh.
In the end, I got the message. I'm the man who can never die.
Why are you so accident prone?
I'm a Time Lord. It's instinct. It's in my guts. You're a fixed point in time and space. You're a fact.
That's never meant to happen. Even the TARDIS reacted against you, tried to shake you off. Flew all the way to the end of the universe just to get rid of him.
So what you're saying is you're, prejudiced?
I never thought of it like that.
Shame on you.
I bring life.
Everything she did was so human. She brought you back to life. But she couldn't control it. She brought you back forever. That's something, I suppose. The final act of the Time War was life.
Do you think she could change me back?
I took the power out of her.
I went back to her estate in the 90s. Just once or twice. Watched her growing up. Never said hello. Timelines and all that.
Yeah, out of context, that sounds really creepy.
Even this thing never worked.
Mother, this watch is me. I'm gonna become human.
Time and time again. Always running out on me. Does it matter?
No. It's nothing. It's... Listen, everything's fine up here. I'm gonna see if the doctor needs me.
Right, don't think about that too much. I'm gonna go.
Regeneration, regeneration.
The drums, the never-ending drumbeat. Open me, you human fool. Open the light and summon me and receive my majesty.
Think what the face of Rose said. His dying words. He said...
You are not alone.
Professor, I'm so sorry.
No.
But I must stop you. You're destroying all our work.
Oh, now I can say I was provoked.
Shoot him. Shoot him. Shoot them all.
The Professor was an invention. So perfect a disguise that I forgot who I am.
Then who are you?
Of course.
The Master.
Let's go! He's back!
Of course he is.
Utopia.
Oh man, you can lock her from the inside.
Doctor can be young and strong. And so can I. The Master. Reborn.
Ah, it's a rainbow.
For a moment, it looked like Hugh Jackman.
Why don't we stop and have a nice little chat while I tell you all my plans and you can work out a way to stop me? I don't think.
Hold on, I know that voice.
No, you don't!
Alrighty.
Well,
I've been holding that in all season.
all right. So I'm not familiar with the actor who.
Yeah, the new actor, John Sim, who plays the regenerated master. He also was in a British drama called Life on Mars and some other stuff, I'm sure. But
okay. Well, it's too bad that they couldn't keep Derek Jacobi because
yeah, it is the one thing people say in hindsight is that would have been really good.
All right, seriously, I mean, if you think any of the previous Doctors or any of the previous Masters are great actors, and many of them are, but Derek Jacobi, I mean, that's like Laurence Olivier level, that's like Michael Caine level, and to have him in this elevated it, and then to lose him to some, and again, I'm sure this new guy will be great, but it's just that's astounding.
Yeah, there are a number of audio dramas that star him as the Master. I think they basically title him the War Master, and so he has a number of audio dramas for that. But unfortunately, this does seem to be the only on-screen appearance of his version of the Master. Although, I suppose it is entirely possible if they wanted to, they could bring him back. It's just at an earlier point in his life, in that specific regeneration, if they wanted to.
And the one thing, I mean, because I kind of figured it out fairly, not early on, but once I saw the watch, I thought, well, there's only one person that could be.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like when he had his back to Chantho and then he turned around, he should have had just a little white mustache and goatee, just so that we go, oh, of course, it has to be.
That would have been funny. But yeah, it is the return of the Master. And, when I first watched this, we had not watched anything with the Master yet. So I was just like, Master? Who's the Master? This evil Time Lord guy. And it was like immediately after I finished this season that we went through some of those first Classic Who episodes, and we did, was it Terror of the Autons with a third Doctor, which is the Master's first appearance. So when he showed up, and he was like, most people refer to me as the Master, I was like, oh no, that's not good. So, now, going back through, after going back around and, literally coming full circle back to this episode, obviously, it's great watching this episode after watching, spoiler alert, there's going to be a lot of episodes with the Master going forward.
Yeah.
But then also watching all of classic Doctor Who, I'm just even more hyped to have the Master back. And quite honestly, it is one of those things where looking at it, it's like, no, this is the perfect, reveal. This is exactly how you would reveal the Master again.
Yeah.
So, and there are some things later on that they will have the Master do where I'm like, yep, that is exactly something the Master would do. For better or for worse, they have nailed the character of the Master.
And for all of the speculation we did about 42 being about life, the universe, and everything, and the restaurant at the end of the universe, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they are literally at the end of the universe.
Yep.
So all they need is a restaurant to go to.
Well, it's entirely possible Utopia has a restaurant. I don't know. We don't know. We still don't fully know what Utopia is. All we know is that he got the thing and he scoffed at it, so something's going on with that. But
now, I'm assuming that the hands in the next two episodes will somehow play a part in this, because they keep referencing it, even though it's just a quick look here and there. So I'm assuming that's going to make a comeback. But again, well constructed episode, and of course, Derek Jacobi, just wonderful. Does the doddering old man and then becomes the evil Master, and the young actress who played Chantho, again very good.
Yeah,
manages to shoot him.
Yeah,
and what was odd is they didn't show him hurting her. He was moving towards her.
Yeah,
and then the next thing you know, she's lying on the floor. So
yeah.
But a classic cliffhanger. He regenerates. Chantho is dead, and what are they called? The future kind.
The future kind.
What are they called in the Time Machine? They're not the golems. Morlocks. I think they're the Morlocks. You know, people at the advanced end of time have come back to eat the humans. So, I mean, there's some elements of H.G. Wells in there, which is interesting because we had H.G. Wells in, was it the 6th or 7th Doctor? Or maybe the 5th, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember what episode that was, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it is a very interesting thing too, because it's like, see, I don't know, because it's like, because I don't have pretty much your perspective on this of watching this, knowing who the Master was, but not knowing he was going to appear in this episode. So it's like I can't even think about like, well, you know, once you see the watch and everything. But I mean, you are right that it's like oh, he's got the watch. He's another, you know, Time Lord in disguise as a human. It's like, okay, who would they bring back? The Master. There's really no one else, with the exception of the Ronnie, who I'll tell you now, they have never brought back the Ronnie, and people are asking for that.
Who was the 8th Doctor with when he crash landed in Night of the Doctor?
Oh, he was with like the sisters on Karn.
That's when he crashed, but there was somebody on the ship with him, I thought.
Yeah, it was just like the person that was on the ship already. Okay. Yeah, they weren't a Time Lord.
Okay. Yeah, and when you go back and you think about it, it's not going to be the meddling monk, because he was a humorous character, and we haven't really seen other Time Lords other than those on Gallifrey, which we now know are all in the Pocket Universe, and supposedly the Doctor thinks they're all dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's the thing of like, we don't... Honestly, there's not too many villain Time Lords to pull from. Like, there's the Master. You can bring back the Ronnie, but even the Ronnie wasn't really a villain per se. Like, she wasn't really evil per se.
Yeah.
The meddling monk
was just a meddler. He just enjoyed playing with time.
They could do it though.
Yeah.
Because they have brought back other First Doctor enemies that haven't been seen in 60 years, so they could very well bring back the meddling monk. In fact, they might have actually in the audio dramas. They might have had a new version of the meddling monk that regenerated. I think there's even a version of the Master that met the First Doctor, technically. So, I don't know. There are many audio dramas, most of which I have not listened to, so I cannot... The only other thing is I think there was another audio drama that was like The Day of the Master, and they brought back like almost every actor who has ever portrayed the Master to be in that, including Derek Jacobi. They even brought back Eric Roberts from the 8th Doctor movie to play his version of the Master. So, which, I mean, speaking of, that is the last time we saw the Master. Yeah. He possessed a human, the body was rotting away, and then he was eaten by the TARDIS. He got better. Apparently was in the Time War and escaped the destruction of Gallifrey and ended up here. So, which, I mean, after watching all of classic Doctor Who, that's just how the Master works. He'll always come back somehow. So, but yeah, it's certainly a great reveal. Something I have definitely been sitting on this whole time. Even with the whole thing of, you know, the "you are not alone," it's just like, it's not that hard to figure out it would be the Master. Because if there's another Time Lord, that's the one you gotta bring back. So, and even like in the middle of this episode, you gave me a heart attack for a second when you said, now with all this, is this a two-parter? And I was like, yeah. And I just was like, okay, good. I'll just go ahead and say that. I thought for like half a second you were about to predict correctly that it was the Master. And I was just gonna sit here like I don't know what to say. So,
so this is a 3-parter to end the season.
Yes. And the next 2 episodes are like more connected as one story. This is it's kind of a pseudo 3-parter in that way of this is kind of a self-contained story, but everything with the Master will carry over to the next story. So, but the other stuff that we had in this episode, we had Jack coming in from Torchwood. I have to say he's much happier on this show.
Yeah.
Like, after rewatching season 1 of Torchwood, it's like, of course he's so happy to be back because he doesn't have to deal with his team anymore. The team that just days ago shot him and unleashed the son of the devil on Cardiff. So it's like, you know what? No wonder he's happy to be back. So, we did learn that truly he cannot die and there is no fixing him because he is a fact of time. He is a fixed point that cannot die, which is interesting.
Now, what was odd is when he went into the chamber, remember the other guy completely disintegrated, and I was wondering if Jack was going to disintegrate and then a pile of ashes would reassemble themselves and he'd get up and go, well, that was interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's an interesting thing because it could be like that, but it's like, I don't know, because see, it's like, I almost feel like Jack's power cannot exist on logic, because it's like, it was made with the power of the time vortex and everything, but it's just like, he is a fact. It is a fact that Jack Harkness is alive. And so because of that, it's like, I don't know, everything that should happen, the forces of this radiation that should burn him apart, his body just literally refuses to burn apart. That said, he can take bullets. He can take bullets or a javelin, as he said. And even when he, as we saw in the last Torchwood episode, he can have a lot of that life force drained out of him. And it took him quite a while. It took him several days to finally recover from that. So, but honestly, it is good to have him in Doctor Who again. We didn't have him at the end of last season, and honestly, it's like this is the only real reason to watch Torchwood at this point is so that you can get, and spoiler alert, this will happen again next season. After that, they pretty much stop that. It's only these 2 seasons that have these tie-ins. So, but still, it's good. I mean, it's like watching the Flash show up on Arrow or something, or Nick Fury showing up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a nice crossover, and it's a good reward for sitting through Torchwood, which is a struggle.
Yeah.
So, everything else, I don't know. It's such an interesting idea too. Going to the end of the universe, everything else is gone. All the stars have burnt out. All the galaxies have collapsed. It's just this one last little planet that's here. And there's probably still other remnants of planets out there, but it's an interesting thing. And I like the whole humans, they persevere. They do so many different things, but eventually they just revert back to the basic human, which I assume is just a good excuse not to put makeup on everyone's face, but that works. And then all of them, it's just like, well, this is the last hope we have, is just heading out to whatever Utopia is. So, though I will say, again, if you were at the end of the universe, all the galaxies have collapsed, even, societal structure is gone. Like he said, there hasn't been a university in 1,000 years. Like, all of this, you clearly know you're at the end of the universe. I probably, especially if I was in charge of security for this place, I would have shot those future kind a long time ago. Like, don't even bother with the, we'll shoot at their feet, get them to scare them off and stuff like that. It's like, you're going to leave them behind anyway. You should probably just shoot them. So,
it would be the humane thing to do, theoretically.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, how many resources do they have? Do they have resources? I guess they must if they have, if they're still living on this planet. But I don't know. It's just like, plus you're saving the bullets at that point. You've only got so many of those to scare them off with. Like, you might as well.
Well, one assumes they can manufacture their own.
I guess.
I mean, they've been living there.
There's plenty of materials on this planet that aren't being used. So
that's kind of getting into the weeds, as it were. on this planet.
Yeah, so, but yeah, and I guess just for the other stuff, but it's such a good build up with Professor Yana, because at first you start getting the drums and everything. It's just like, what's going on with this guy, and then it just keeps ramping up, and he keeps hearing more about the Doctor and the TARDIS and time travel and stuff, until eventually you start putting things kind of together. It's like, what is going on with this guy? And then he gets out the watch, and it's like, oh no. But even if if you're like me, who was watching this for the first time, I had no idea who the Master was. So I was just like, oh, it's another Time Lord. It's like, maybe that's a good thing? I don't know. The Doctor seems pretty nice. Yeah. Also, too, because if you don't know anything up to this point, the Doctor, the way he talks about Gallifrey, it's this very idealized look at Gallifrey, the beautiful countryside and everything. And the you almost get this, like, majestic, holy image of the Time Lords. Then if you go watch classic Doctor Who, that is not what the Time Lords are like at all. They are far and away pretty terrible people, honestly. Not all of them, but, but they're not great.
They're the embodiment of the old saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
They are the bureaucrats of time travel. So it's just like, But, and then you just keep going, and it's just like, okay, this is interesting. And it's just, and then the Master, and it's like, that sounds ominous. He seems ominous. This probably isn't a good thing. So, there's only one other thing, technically, that you missed, and I don't blame you for missing. And I'm debating in my head whether or not to tell you, or just wait, because technically it is revealed literally at the start of the next episode.
Well, I mean, they talked about Rose a lot, so I didn't know if Rose was coming back.
It's not about Rose. It's there's one little line when they're scrambling and the Master is taking off and everything. There's one little line that Martha has while he's talking, and it's an interesting thing where basically she just says, "Hold on, I know that voice," as the newly regenerated Master is talking, so she knows that. So I don't know, dude. Do you have?
I remember her saying that, but I was trying to figure out how would she know that voice?
How would she know the Master's, especially the new Master's voice? He's so freshly regenerated. So I don't know. Well, we can keep that as the lead into the next episode, because that is addressed in the next episode. So, but it is definitely like at the end of this episode, especially going back, I feel like everyone's just like, could have had Derek Jacobi as the Master, though. It would have been good. I understand what they were going for, because this guy, he's clearly younger than any of the previous Masters have ever been. I assume he is, but and they're trying to go for a mirror of like, well, David Tennant, he's younger than the old Doctors that we used to get, and he was younger than even Christopher Eccleston. So it's like, okay, you're getting a mirror. The Doctor can be young, the Master can be young, but it is the thing of like, ooh, but we could have had Derek Jacobi as the Master. So, oh well. Now we'll just have to settle for the audio dramas, if you want to listen to those.
I do not. We did some audio dramas, and I just didn't care for them. It's not that there was anything wrong with them. It's just it's like ballet. It's not my cup of tea.
It's interesting because honestly, because I remember you described it kind of as homework, because it kind of was, where it's like, we had to listen to this on our own, and then we came back, and then we did the discussion on camera and everything. Honestly, that's kind of what Torchwood was starting to feel like for me, where I was just like, okay, we gotta make some time and watch Torchwood and hope that the episode is good. A lot of times it wasn't, and then we had to come back on here, and I had to explain to the fandom why I don't like Torchwood anymore. I mean, it's fine, but it's just like, it was not really worth it. So I kind of understood. Although the audio dramas were way better than Torchwood, even with the whole, we had to make time and really listen to them and stuff. They were still way better stories than Torchwood. Now that I say that, I would love to see was it Frobisher the Penguin
I was just
in
about to say,
Torchwood.
is in any of New Who, is Frobisher ever mentioned? Does anybody ever say, well, I once had this talking penguin?
I don't think so. I don't know. There could be like one line that said one time, and I don't remember, but I don't think so. I think the closest to acknowledging a lot of the audio companions is in The Night of the Doctor, when the Eighth Doctor regenerates. He references most of his companions that he had in the audio adventures. So, but yeah, you got anything else?
I got nothing.
Then next time we will move on to The Sound of Drums and move on with our 3-part story arc with the Master. So, but that is basically it. With all of that being said, we're Alex and Dad from 7th Hour Films, and we will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of our modern Doctor Who reactions, as well as another playlist with all of just every Doctor Who reaction that's on the channel. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.